Your alarm goes off. You're not sick. You slept. You have a job, a salary, a purpose. Or at least that's what you're supposed to call it. And yet, before your feet hit the floor, something in you resists every single morning. Not because you're lazy, not because you lack discipline, but because somewhere deep inside, the oldest part of your brain, something is screaming that all of this is wrong.
For 300,000 years, your ancestors woke up to sunlight and movement. They woke up to a world that made biological sense. You woke up to a notification. Today, we are going to look at what the modern 9-to-5 is actually doing to your prehistoric brain, and why the exhaustion, the dread, and the emptiness you feel at your desk is not a personal failure, it's an evolutionary alarm. For 95% of human history, no human being had a job. They had something more demanding, more rewarding, and something your nervous system still craves. They had a role.
In a hunter-gatherer band, the social structure humans lived in for almost all of our existence, work was nothing like what we do today. There was no commute, no inbox, no performance review. Work was hunting, gathering, building shelter, tending to children, defending the group. It was physical, variable, immediate, and most critically, it was socially visible. When a hunter made a kill, the entire band knew. The reward was instant and total. Food, status, belonging. The feedback loop closed the same day it opened. The anthropologist Marshall Salins once called hunter-gatherer life the original affluent society. Not because they had more things, but because they had enough, and they knew it. Now, compare that to your Monday morning. You sit, you open a laptop, you respond to emails that generate more emails, you attend meetings about the next meeting, you produce work that becomes a slide in a presentation that informs a report that no one reads. The feedback loop never closes. Your brain is waiting for the kill signal, the moment of completion, the point where the hunt ends and the eating begins. That signal never comes, and your nervous system, built for immediate, high-stakes reward, is running in a permanent state of incompletion. Not because you're unproductive, because the modern office was never designed with your biology in mind.
In 1991, evolutionary biologists Randolph Nesse and George Williams coined a term for exactly this problem, the evolutionary mismatch. The idea is simple. Our biology was shaped by a world that no longer exists, and when the demands of our modern environment conflict with what our ancient bodies were built for, the result isn't adaptation, it's damage. Here's what that damage looks like in real time. Every morning, your body produces a surge of cortisol. This is not a malfunction. Cortisol is your prehistoric alarm system, the signal your ancient brain uses to prepare your body for a high-stakes day. Hunt, fight, move, survive. But in a modern office, there is no hunt, there is no movement. The cortisol has nowhere to go, so it accumulates over days, weeks, years. And chronic cortisol elevation doesn't just make you tired, it shrinks the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for memory and decision-making. It suppresses your immune system, it disrupts your sleep, it rewires your brain's threat detection circuitry until ordinary emails start triggering the same stress response that our ancestors reserved for predators. Then there's the dopamine problem. Your brain's reward circuit evolved to release dopamine in anticipation of a meaningful goal. The hunt, the chase, the moment before the breakthrough. In a modern office, that system gets hijacked. Every notification, every ping, every new email gives you a microdose of dopamine just large enough to keep you checking, but never large enough to satisfy. You are, neurologically speaking, a hunter sitting in a box being fed crumbs. Your brain is not broken. It is desperately trying to run its original programming in an environment it was never designed for. And the longer it runs that way, the higher the cost. The body keeps the score. Sitting for 8 hours a day at a desk is, from your body's perspective, an act of prolonged suppression. For 300,000 years, the human body moved an average of 12 to 16 kilometers every single day. Not at the gym, not on a treadmill, through the actual landscape of survival.
Your cardiovascular system was built for that world. Your lymphatic system, which has no pump of its own, relies entirely on muscular movement to circulate. When you sit still, it stalls. Your hip flexors, designed for running and crouching and climbing, slowly tighten and shorten from hours in a chair. Your glutes, the largest and most powerful muscles in your body, begin to forget what they're for. Researchers have a name for this: gluteal amnesia. And at the end of 8 hours in an office, you go home and sit some more. Sitting is not rest. For your ancient body, sitting was what you did between hunts for 20 minutes, not 8 hours. But the damage doesn't stop at the body.
The artificial light in your office, the blue spectrum fluorescent glow that makes the spreadsheet legible, tells your brain at the neurological level that it is permanent noon. Your circadian rhythm, tuned over millennia to the arc of the sun, never gets a clear signal that the day has ended. So when you try to sleep, your brain is still waiting for sunset. You're not just tired at work, you're taking the office home inside your nervous system. You cannot quit your job tomorrow and move to a forest, but you can give your prehistoric brain what it's been starved of. 3 things. First, the morning light anchor. Before you touch your phone, before the first notification, go outside for 10 minutes. Direct sunlight in the first hour of waking calibrates your circadian clock and tells your cortisol system that the day has genuinely begun. This one act recalibrates more than an hour of meditation will. Second, the micro hunt. Your brain needs a feedback loop that closes. Set one single, concrete, completable goal for each day. Not a project, not a deliverable, a task you can physically cross off. The act of completion releases the dopamine your brain has been waiting for since you sat down.
Third, the physical signal. Move for 5 minutes every hour, not to burn calories, to tell your nervous system at the biological level that you are not trapped. Movement is your body's signal for safety. Stillness is its signal for threat. Every hour you sit is an hour your body believes it is hiding from something. You were not built for the cubicle, but you were built to adapt. Give your ancient hardware the signals it understands. The 9 to 5 is not natural. It is 150 years old. Your brain is 300,000 years old. For the entire history of your species, longer than language, longer than agriculture, longer than civilization, humans worked in small groups in sunlight with their bodies toward goals they could see, touch, and finish. What we call the daily grind would have been unrecognizable to 99.9% of every human being who ever lived.
So if you drag yourself out of bed every morning feeling like something is fundamentally wrong, you are not failing the modern world. The modern world has simply not caught up to your biology yet. Subscribe to the Ancestral Mind. Every Sunday, we decode one more piece of the ancient software still running inside you, because understanding your nature is the first step to living with it.